just to give you a quick overview, I think we had a very detailed introduction previously on our podcast, but to all the people who don't know David, David is a co-founder of Sports One Marketing. Let's... Hello, David. How are you
Hey,
doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Perfect. I'm doing very good. Thank you for asking. Thanks a lot for joining in today.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah. I think this was a really good idea. Instead of doing 2 minutes, we jumped on into about 10 minutes of a session. That's really good. Awesome. Thank you so much, David, once again. And I'm very excited that the podcast is getting released today on YouTube, on Spotify, on Anchor, on all possible platforms wherever people can possibly listen to a podcast.
Oh, yeah. We are incredible together, my friend. I can't wait for people to enjoy that.
Awesome. Sounds good, David. So we'll just jump on with our quick introduction to the people. I mean, first of all, you don't need any introduction. All the people who are watching us, they know who you are, accomplishments and everything. But still, we'll just quickly run down our quick intro and jump into more kind of like today casual conversation, more about you as a person, because we already talked so much on business coaching, how to scale a business, launch a business, things to watch out for and all that. So today's like more human oriented conversation.
Yeah, I would love that. Thank you.
Awesome. So to all the people who are watching, I'm glad to have David Meltzer on our live stream today. David Meltzer, he's the co-founder of Sports One Marketing, three-time international best-selling author, a top 100 business coach, executive producer of the #1 digital business show, The Elevator Pitch, host of the top entrepreneur podcast, The Playbook, and he is always already awarded the Ellis Island Medal of Honor. Awesome, David. Glad to have you on the live stream today.
Thank you.
Perfect. So let's get started with our first thing, which is like, how important has your family been throughout your journey? Like since from, I think you mentioned initially living with your mom, with your siblings, and then having your own kids. So how important that family aspect is been in your life?
So my family's been the most important thing in my life until about 2.5 years ago when I changed my paradigm and I put my health in front of my family. And the reason I did that is if I don't take care of myself, I won't be able to take care of what's most important to me, which is my family. And I think that's the biggest lesson I've learned over the last 50 years is that most people would prioritize their family first, then activity they get paid for second, then their own well-being. And this is a big mistake. You cannot take care or give what you don't have. And so I have an old saying about health. If you are healthy, you get over 1,000 wishes a day. If you are unhealthy, you only have one wish. And we all know what that wish would be. So I just wanted everyone to know that my family is extremely important to me, always has been till 2.5 years ago. The most important thing. Now it's the second most important thing behind my health.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really important. I think sometimes most of the times family is like a driving force, which helps us to like have a balanced lifestyle too. So definitely agree with you. So David, like at what point do you think your life was at the lowest and that you decided you had enough and started to improve it?
For me, it was 2 years before I went bankrupt. So I'm one of the few people that you'll ever meet that the low point was 2 years before they went bankrupt. But at that point in my life, I was surrounding myself with the wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
I was surrounding myself with the wrong ideas. I was acting in the wrong way. I wasn't paying attention to my family. I wasn't paying attention to the work or activity I get paid for. And I wasn't doing the things to be of service or of value to others. I wasn't living a passionate, purposeful, although profitable life. And so for me to take stock in who I was and what I wanted to become, utilizing my wife as a catalyst who, what I say, woke me and told me that I wasn't living my life in the right direction and she was going to leave me unless I took stock in who I was. And so that's for me, low point of my life, which today still has allowed me to springboard to a world of abundance and more than enough of everything to rebound. I actually lost over $100 million 2 years after my bottom. And yet I was prepared not only to lose that money, but to re-engineer my life and continue to accelerate, grow, and expand far beyond my imagination.
No, absolutely. I think at the end of the day, it all comes down to perspectives. And the one thing which I heard you preach a lot, it's about the gratitude, right? Having that mindset, being thankful to the things which you have. So, how about if you talk more about gratitude, like how gratitude helps to rewire our brain as well?
Of course, gratitude number one is the most powerful thing of all. If you simply say thank you before you go to bed and when you wake up for 30 straight days, 1/10 of a second it takes to say thank you or think thank you before you go to bed, 30 straight days. It doesn't
Yeah,
cost you a penny.
yeah,
It will change your life exponentially. I've studied physics, quantum physics, and metaphysics. I've surrounded myself with the world thought leaders from Deepak Chopra to Oprah Winfrey, to Bob Proctor, to Jack Canfield, to Mary Morrissey, to Brian Tracy, all of the great minds, Les Brown, Reverend Beckwith, and all of us agree gratitude is the superpower that changes your life. Here's the problem. By tonight, half of us won't say thank you. By
mm,
tomorrow, another half of us will forget to say thank you. Within 3 days, all of us, regardless of the power of gratitude, the power of finding the light, the love, and the lessons and everything, almost all of us won't say thank you. So I challenge everyone to change their life. I challenge everyone to utilize a superpower that's free and takes 1/10 of a second. Say thank you before you go to bed and when you wake up. It'll change your life.
exactly, exactly, 100% on that. And I think scientifically also it is proven that it helps to release dopamine and serotonin. In these are two neurotransmitters in your body which are responsible for the emotions, and they just make you feel good.
Yeah, so I call it the dose: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins.
Yeah,
Get a dose of happiness, a dose of gratitude, and you will feel good all day long, and it will change your life for the better.
yeah, exactly, exactly. It's like if you are good deep down inside, you are feeling positive, your foundation is strong, then you go all in whatever it comes to your day, right?
You got it.
Yep, 100%. So how about Dave? We talk about like about patient and execution, right? Like we talk about like a lot about executing, and also in business we say you gotta have patience as well. You should not be started expecting the results within a day or within a month or so, right? So how do you define those fine line between execution and patient? Because sometimes low execution and high patient can also be very deadly.
Yeah, it's a something we have to temper. There's a temperance between persistence, execution, and patience, and the reason is that things don't occur in a linear fashion, and they don't occur in it's an exponential way, meaning that things aggregate on themselves. They compound in their interest. So, in this behavior, I always say this behavior is in the negative favor. So, what does
Yeah.
that mean? That if you're doing the wrong things,
Hmm.
you won't know you're doing the wrong things till you're 90% of the way there, because what aggregates upon itself takes about 90% of the time to avail itself, to allow us to be aware of it, to witness what's going on. But moreover, the positive's the worst, and it works again
Yeah.
negative in the favor of the behavior, because if we're doing the positive things that we need to do, it takes 90% of the time just to become aware of any results. So most people quit, which once again becomes in the favor of the negative behavior.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I think you laid it right there. You hit right on the nail right there. So having that awareness is really, it's really important to self-awareness to kind of like distinguish between that patience and execution, right? So what do you have to say, David, like on accountability, right? I think we touched upon this on our podcast as well. So maybe we can want to talk like few seconds on accountability, right? Like being accountable to your actions, to whatever you do. So what's your take on that?
Absolutely. Big shout out to Chad Fuller there. I see you pop in between meetings. He's a good friend of mine and he's an inspiration to all.
I
But
see.
more importantly, to remind me real quick, what was the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah. So the question was about accountability, right?
Yeah.
Like how
So
accountability.
most people live in liability.
Yeah.
So I'm a lawyer. Never practiced law because I got into the internet and that's where I made my money. But most people live in liability, below the line, blame, shame, justification.
Yeah.
All these do is create void shortages and obstacles and reduce and dissipate and dissolve all of the control that we have in our lives.
Yeah.
How do we liberate our life? How do we find ourselves in complete control of what's coming through us, what we're connected to and through? I will tell you, it's through accountability. Accountability asks two simple questions. What did I do to attract this to my life? And what am I supposed to learn from it?
Yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. I think you again mentioned a very good point that a lot of people live in a moment of like shame, making wrong decisions, and all that. Right? At the end of the day, we are humans. We take as many actions as we can, and some of them could be right, some of them could be wrong. And even I think there's no such thing called failure, right? Like even if you don't doesn't execute as per your plan, you learn something out of it, and then you re-execute with a new technique. So there's
Absolutely.
always that room right
As
there.
long you learn the lesson, there's no failure in that.
Exactly, exactly. I think the failure is when you give up. That's when the failure is.
Only time there's failure. Correct.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So my last question here, David, like what do you have to say to an 18-year-old?
18 or 80?
18, 1 8, 18.
I'd say the same thing anyway. I'd
Yeah,
say ask for help. The biggest lesson that I've learned, whether I'm 18, 28, 38, or 48, is you don't know what you don't know. Find someone that sits in the situation that you want to be in. It's the easiest way to get to where you want to go is find someone that's already there and ask them for directions. And especially if you're 18 years old, most people that are sitting in a situation that you want to be in needed help and didn't ask for it, and they would be happy to give it to you. So if you want to accelerate, grow, expand, ask for help. If you don't know how to ask for help, go ahead, reach out to me, but I'll give you a little hint. All you got to ask is, hey, do you know anyone that can help me? And that's the easiest way to ask for help. So everybody out there, be kind to your future self, do good deeds, ask for help, reach out to me anytime at David Meltzer or david@dmeltzer.com. I am happy to be of service.
awesome. Sounds good, David. And one last thing, David, if people who are watching this as well, if they want to work with you, they want to get enrolled into your coaching program. So what is the best way for them to reach out to you?
Look, DM me at David Meltzer or email me, david@dmeltzer.com. I have free programs, group programs, one-on-one, consulting, whatever you need. I'm going to guarantee everything I do, work month to month, make sure you're profitable, happy, and healthy. Come and join me for anything you need.
Awesome. Sounds good. Perfect. Thank you. Thanks a lot, David, for joining in today on this live stream, and super excited for our podcast release as well. It will be out in the next half an hour.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so
Take care.
much, David. Have a good evening. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.